We begin with a demonstration in Israel following the execution of 6 hostages held in Gaza since October 7th. The protesters are demanding a ceasefire, but Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is standing firm, arguing that making concessions now would send the wrong message to Hamas. Marcus Moore is on the scene in Israel. Good morning, Marcus.
Well, George, good morning. Pressure is mounting on Prime Minister Netanyahu and the government to accept a ceasefire and a hostage release deal, but he is not budging. And once again last night, we saw sadness and frustration in the streets of Israel. Overnight, anger towards Benjamin Netanyahu filling the streets of Israel. Large protest outside the Prime Minister's residence in Jerusalem for a second night after 6 hostages were murdered by Hamas in the Gaza Strip.
The military pressure is not a good system. So there is a time to have an agreement.
Tens of thousands calling on Prime Minister Netanyahu to secure a ceasefire deal that would see the release of all hostages being held by Hamas. In the crowd, 6 symbolic coffins carried representing the 6 who were killed.
Demonstrators have just breached the barrier that the security service tried to set up, which is just a few hundred feet from Prime Minister Netanyahu's home.
And steadfast on their insistence for a ceasefire deal, Hamas now warning against further military rescue missions from Israel, saying hostages will return, quote, inside coffins. One of the hostages murdered, now laid to rest, Israeli-American Hersh Goldberg Poland. Thousands lining the streets as a procession made its way to Hersh's funeral.
Hersh, we failed you. We all failed you. For 330 days, Mama and I sought the proverbial stone that we could turn over to save you. Maybe, just maybe, your death is the stone, the fuel that will bring home the remaining 101 hostages.
Hersh's parents, John and Rachel, became advocates for a hostage deal at home and abroad, now saying he is, quote, finally free.
I will love you and I will miss you every single day for the rest of my life. But you're right here. I know you're right here. I just have to teach myself how to feel you in a different way. And Hersh, there's one last thing I need you to do for us. Now I need you to help us stay strong. And I need you to help us survive.
Netanyahu asking the families of the hostages killed for forgiveness Monday, but adamant that Israel will not be making any additional concessions in the negotiations.
We're asked to make concessions? What message does this send Hamas? It says, kill more hostages.
This morning, some are concerned that his defiant and pointed speech could further jeopardize any chances of a negotiated ceasefire, which is what the people we've seen in the streets, many of them have been demanding. And Michael, more demonstrations are planned across Israel tonight.
All right, Marcus, thank you so much for that. And that's the